interrupt.
But you kind of have to.
Can I come over?
Of course. So, good to see you.
Wow. Awesome to witness this.
Thank you.
Because this is a whole lot of sound, but it's all you.
Yeah, it kind of is. It is. It's me in multiple ways, in multiple recordings, and in multiple everything. Yes.
Wow. It's an amazing sight to see. There are so many things here that trigger all kinds of questions, and I'm sure have many, many stories. But I want to first thank you for inviting us over. It's a very special week, and it's a very special festival within the week that you, Rob, get to open.
Yes. Yes, I'm very proud to say that I'm the opening act for Castlefest this year. So Thursday at 12 o'clock I will be performing. So I hope you all will be there for the first show of Castlefest, because I need your support for my new project.
and so this is your new project.
Yeah.
What are we looking at apart from amazing instruments?
What we are looking at is something that started by myself. I started writing songs, and then I started to create ways I could play those songs. And in that whole process, I started to invite some friends and say, hey, maybe you can do this part live, or you can do this part live. And so for Castlefest, I have Rick Klein on bass guitar and on guitar. And I have Gijs Anders van Stralen, who is going to help me out with percussion. And he's the second drummer, so we share the drum set. And we're just going to run around and find the instrument that we want to play for that part, and try to give you the best live experience ever.
And I do understand that you're not the only ones running around. There's somebody else also running around.
Oh, yes. Yeah. We also have the lovely Sophie dancing with us with a couple songs. So we have someone who can express the music in movement.
Oh, wow. So, okay, so that's like a translation or an interpretation of the song. Mm-hmm. But I'm very curious how these songs come to be. How does this work? Because I think each instrument tells its own story, but it's you who has to be like the medium, the vessel, to make it all come to life. What's your process here?
Well, it's very different from all the other bands and things I've ever done. I've noticed that with these kind of instruments, the melody comes from a certain movement. Like I can show you, if you play a piano, then you know your key, and in that piano you're gonna look for the right chords, and you're gonna use what you know. But with this instrument, you're not really sure which tone is which. They're all different, and they all have different shapes and sizes. So I try to find a movement, and I hope that movement works. And then I'm gonna see if I can alter a little bit and see if it starts to feel like a melody. And maybe I go back. And if I get bored, I do something else.
I would say, how could you ever get bored? Because this is you really get into a trance if you listen to this instrument. It's very peculiar. It's not like as energetic as, let's say, a rock guitar, where people just go all out. Mm-hmm. There's a certain I don't know how to call it. I don't want to say trance again, but
but the trance is kind of the good word, because I like to create a melody. And when I start repeating that melody, the first time it's okay, and the second time you get used to it, and after a while you really dive into that melody. So it is a kind of a trance thing that I want to reach with people. So I don't write a lot of melodies. It's not like a million melodies in one song, but I try to limit myself to a couple in the hope that people really start to feel it, even when I stop playing them, that you still feel them.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the way I want to go about with these instruments and this type of music.
Kind of reminds me like when you go to a spa, you know, there are these sessions.
Yeah.
And inevitably, when I attend one, I fall asleep. But here it's similar, but it's not exactly the same. There indeed is the melody, but then there's so much more than just these instruments. But before we dive into all the extras that you have, I think a lot of people refer to these as a handpan or a hang drum.
Yes.
But that's not completely correct, is it?
It's not completely correct. The first builder, he made the hang drum, and he claimed that name. So after him, no one else is allowed to use the word hang. So the family name became handpan. So we have a family of handpans that have this shape. Normally they tap out the notes with a little hammer. And these ones, they are cut out with a laser. So this is then called a tongue drum. So this is kind of a hybrid in between a handpan and a tongue drum. This looks more like just a tongue drum because it's smaller. And there's just those tongues. Yeah, that's how we like to call them, hybrids.
Hybrids.
Yes.
And I see two more here behind your banner. And there's one over there.
Yeah.
It's like 5 in total that you have, right?
For this show, I need 5 to do the whole show. I have 15 of them, I guess. But for the show, I'm happy that I only need 5. Because I also need to carry them around, of course. But they all look different. So if you want to hold this one.
Really?
Like this. Yeah, just hold it like this. And you can see a nice Latvian design. These are all Baltic symbols. Because my wife is from Latvia, I wanted to do something with her heritage as well. This lotus has kind of an Indian vibe.
Yeah, I had henna in my mind when I saw it, yeah.
Yeah, and this is called Dnipro, so this is really Ukrainian design.
Oh, wow.
So they all have their own little thing that Olga just cuts out by hand. So you can order anything you like. I mean, the one in the back that you really cannot see that well. That one is...
it's more tribal, right?
It's... there was a drawing that was hanging on my wall, and I sent her a picture of the drawing, and she just cut the whole thing out, and it was fine.
So you mentioned Olga, I think her name is?
Yes, Olga is the woman who used to do all the designs for Zen percussion, but she's now in Germany.
Okay, and so then you mentioned this is a tongue drum, if I say it correctly?
Yes, tongue drum.
Then where does the word Gouda come in?
Gouda. I'm not really sure what the origin is of the word Gouda, but it must sound really nice in Ukrainian. So we just used the name.
And for your project, then you went from Gouda to Baraguda.
Baraguda, yeah. It sounded nice. I was talking with my designer, and we were ping-ponging about what's a cool name.
As one does on a tongue drum.
Yes, yeah. That's what you do. So he came with Baraguda, and I said, yeah, I need something extra. So we went for Project Baraguda. So it sounds like a band instead of a solo person. I didn't want to do this under my own flag. I wanted
your own
to
banner.
have, yes. I wanted to have a band name. Yeah. Yes.
Okay, and then next to the band name, I noticed 2 things actually.
Yeah.
There's a design, and it kind of reminds me of the tongues in the drums, but maybe that's just me. Is there any story behind the design?
Yeah, if you look above the design, you can see some hertz.
1659 I saw.
Ah,
what's that about?
Very good. Well, there was this guy named Chladni, and he made Chladni patterns. So if you put sand on a piece of steel and you put a frequency on it,
yeah,
judging by the frequency, the sand will change.
Yes.
And so on that frequency, the sand will look like this.
Really?
Yeah. So we took a couple of hertzes that we really like, and each song I wrote has its own design matching with the hertz.
And is that tone, which it will inevitably be also represented in one of these drums?
Some of them are close to a tone, and some of them are in between notes. But
Right.
it's of course the way the sand looked was more important than to be exactly on 442 and say, oh, this is an A. Let's make it an A. So this.
So the fact that it's reminiscent of the tongues is somewhat of a coincidence.
It's a coincidence.
But definitely your frequency then.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It must have taken hours to figure out the pattern.
Yeah. Well, there are several videos you can watch online from Kladny, and after that we just both said like which ones did we like the most and how would they look in a normal design, because you don't just want to draw out the sand. So then my designer Joost, my son, he took a couple weeks and then he sent me back this in color. So he said, yeah, these are the best colors to match with this and that. And I said, okay, I just play my drums, you can decide the colors.
Now you have an album coming out.
Yeah.
Which actually we are having a giveaway for through 4 channels actually, with at the time 4 days to go, now 2 remaining. And you're welcome to participate because it's going to be a raffle. And we have 4 to give away or to collect basically at Castlefest.
Yes.
Is this also the cover of the album?
Yes, it's the same as the sticker that I cannot find at the moment. I think it's on the table there with Sophie. Hola. Yeah, that's actually the cover. Like that.
With the hertz on. Yeah.
With the hertz on it, of course. Very important. And in the end, when all the songs are out, now there's only 1 song you can find on Spotify, they all have their own design. So it's going to be a really nice list of different Kladny patterns.
This is ultimate merch, I would say.
I hope so.
And then, okay, so I now, for the first time ever, see the album title, or what I think the album title is. It's not going to be the hertz number. Second Home.
Second Home, yes.
Okay, that kind of makes me think of Castlefest.
Also.
Also, there you go. So what is the other translation?
5 years ago, I made my first solo album, and it was called Home. So it made sense to name this one Second Home. Then when I realized I could play it at Castlefest, that is our second home, of course. And I also wrote a little bit of Latvian stuff. So you saw the Latvian designs. I made like a Latvian folk song. And of course, Latvia is my second home because my wife is from there. So that's all a bit intertwined. And I had many good reasons to stick with this name.
So that Latvian folk song is the one that we have been playing multiple times a day for the past month.
Yes, so you've all heard it already on Castlefest, 3 times a day.
It was an honor to play because it was a special radio version for Calcast specifically.
Yes.
But now, of course, people can get to enjoy a full album. So what are your activities going to be like at Castlefest? You're the opening act. Are you just going to like play the whole album?
Yes, I want to play the whole album. So that was the deal. We had to study all the songs. So we're almost ready. 1 more practice session tomorrow, and then we know everything we want to do.
Just in time.
Just in time, as always. And yeah, after that, I'm also going to do a Gouda workshop for the people who are interested in learning more about the instrument. I'll be doing that on the Friday. On the Saturday, we're going to do a drum workshop because we have a lot of drums with us. We figured like, hey, we can definitely do a drum workshop. And in the evening, Saturday, Gijs and I will join the ritual with our drums.
Oh, really?
Yes. So we have a lot of activities on Castlefest. There's a lot to do.
So this time around, the ritual is in 3 parts. Yes. And the Saturday is the middle part, the main part, the burning of the wicker. And you're involved.
Yes. I have the honor to play my drums while the fire is burning. So that's that's the best spot you can get.
Yeah,
It does not
definitely prime time.
It does not get better than just banging your drums while the wicker is burning. So I'm a lucky man.
Yeah, indeed, I can imagine. And so all this has to go to the Keukenhof,
Yeah.
castle grounds, in 2 days, which is going to be quite the endeavor, I assume. I'm wondering, is there any particular item that we could like get a background story on? Because there's so much here.
Yeah, background stories. Let's see. Well, they all come from different countries. I bought them in different places. I think we might just go for the ones that sound funny. Is that a good way of
Fire away.
Okay, well, here we have a spring drum. This will make a nice little thunder sound.
Spring.
Because there's a spring. So you have some really nice effect. But
Dramatic effect, yeah.
There are also frogs in my setup. Which is actually a samba instrument. So yeah, you got this, and then when you forget your didgeridoo, you can take this one. Oh yeah, what else do we have? You need a vibro slap, of course. But you don't just need one, you always need 2 vibro slaps. Very important. Then yeah, when you
Wait,
start...
what?
This is a pan that I ruined. So my wife said, you have to throw that away. And I was like, no, man, it's got a good sound. So anything with a good sound will come with me. And especially with like a delay, this one sounds really nice. That's what I do all day.
I got a Tina Turner vibe just now. I Can't Stand the Rain.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There's something like that in that song. Yeah, true.
Yeah.
So that's most of the stuff I have, and just the atmospheric little percussion thingies. Like you said, the sound bars with the little gongs, and there's even smaller gongs. So everything like that. So I will be using them all at the show.
It's going to be a richness of sound, and then so there's going to be more of you, right? On stage, and then all this has to be processed and translated into movement.
Also
by somebody who's also on the stage.
Yes. Our dear Sophie is joining us.
Sophie, I'm wondering if we can have you for like a second.
Shall I just...
Yep, come join us.
Put that key, climb on the table.
Yeah.
So people may have seen you before. I mean, Kelt Costanzi Awards for one, back in March, dancing to the very rhythmic sounds of the treble notes.
Yes.
And that's not your only gig. But now how did this come about?
Well, it's actually a little bit of a longer story because Rob and I know each other from 2016 or something. Mm-hmm. Because we were both part of a street performance that we did together with a friend of ours. And that's where we met. But then for this specific festival, Rob asked me, do you want to join this new project? And I said, yes, of course. It seems like a lot of fun, so why not? And I know that he makes really cool music, so absolutely I wanted to join.
Definitely something else, right?
Definitely something else,
And so how then do you translate these kinds of sounds into your movements? Yeah,
it's actually interesting because Rob said something about creating his music, which I have a similar process of creating the dance. So I first checked with Rob, do you want me to portray anything specifically, or do you want me to do a own interpretation, or would you like to see a certain dance move? And he's like, no, you get the free artistic freedom to create what you want. So that's really nice. So then what I did, I actually put on the song that he asked me first to work with on a loop of like a couple of hours. Most of those hours I just lay down on the floor and just let the music sink into me, find all the different parts. And then for me, the most important question is, what is the music telling me? What's the story it brings to me? And for this specific song, it actually gave me more movement and not so much a story, but a way of progressing through movement, which is very close to how you created the music. So I picked up on that through listening to the music. So that's really awesome. So I follow the progression of the song. And I try for the audience to articulate different parts of instruments and different rhythms, just to let them hear different specific details of the music to understand a little bit better what's going on. Because, like you said, there's a lot of instruments and a lot of sounds. So if I then visualize those different sounds, it makes it a little bit more clear for the audience.
So it just occurred to me that you have then listened to the album already.
No. No, I have listened to one song of the album. One song.
Was that the one that we also...
No.
Ah, okay.
No.
So then collectively we have two.
Two, yeah.
You know more than the rest of the world at the moment.
Oh, very. But yeah, people will get their chance, of course. The opening act at Castlefest to listen and to see as well, to witness. Is there any particular song that you plan to open with?
I'm gonna open with an old song, actually.
Oh,
yeah. No,
I was thinking maybe we could like have that as a cliffhanger from here to then the opening in 2 days.
Okay, so you like a cliffhanger. So you wanna. A cliffhanger is when you don't know what's gonna happen, right? So then I have to tell you the song, and before that we cut it off. So the first song at Castlefest is gonna be.
Give us the first couple of notes then.
Oh, the first couple of notes.
Because if it's an old song, then I mean your true fans should know.
That's very true. Then Sophie, could you hold this for a second? Thank you very much.
That's amazing.
What you're gonna hear is because Castlefest is a celebration of life, I wanted to open with La Vita, which is a song about life. And it's one of the first songs I ever wrote on this instrument, so I still really like to play it. Let's see if we're close.
Wow.
That's a long cliffhanger.
It's a privilege to witness. And okay, let's remind the people one more time that if they want to have a beautiful transition from their day-to-day life and the travels towards that second home, your second home release show, musical opening of Castlefest is going to be the place to be. Where and when?
Thursday, 12 o'clock, Village Stage.
All right. We hope to see you there within less than 2 days. All right. See ya.
Bye.